As the search for life heads into a 9th day today, some very high-tech helpers are lending a hand. They're robots equipped with cameras, lights, infrared capability, microphones, and speakers. Lieutenant Colonel John Blitch, director of the Center for Robot-Assisted Search and Rescue, has been leading the robot teams on the site for the past week. Colonel Blitch, good morning to you. Nice to have you here.
Good morning, man.
How much time have you spent down at the World Trade Center?
We've actually been down there since about 6 hours after the initial strike, initial attack.
You brought a lot of high-tech equipment with you that, from what I understand, prior to this had been classified.
Yes, what we tried to do is take some of the first-generation platforms that were developed by DARPA, where the guys that did the internet and such, and declassified some of these as a means to assist in the rescue effort.
They've been used in other places. Weren't some robots used in Oklahoma City as well?
No, we actually didn't have any portable robots available at Oklahoma City, and that was kind of the motivation to launch into this effort. Some of these have been overseas. For example, the town has been overseas recovering unexploded ordnance in Bosnia. And several of the others have been experimental in nature.
Let's talk about the reason to use a robot as opposed to a searcher. Are we talking space reasons, or are we talking danger of collapse where a robot is replaceable and a human's not?
Actually, both. One thing that we can do in robotics is take advantage of mechanical design freedom. So we're stuck in a 2-meter bag of water with kind of an anthropomorphic structure. I can't bend my elbow back around a corner. So what some of these do, for example, this platform here can fold flat and penetrate into a confined space that a human physically can't fit. And so that's the big value in most of these platforms.
All right, I want to mention we're joined by Robin Murphy, Tom Frost, and Arnie Mangold, who are going to show us some of these pieces of equipment. So this one is called what?
This is the VGTV Variable Geometry Tracked Vehicle. It's built for us, modified for us by a company in Canada called Nucton Services.
Is it computer controlled?
Yes, there are actually computers in every one of these consoles, these supervisory control units. What's unique about this is that we can swap out 4 or 5 different types of robots and still use the same OCU. The OCU, the operator control unit, recognizes what type it is.
All right, explain here. This is camera here?
Yeah, go ahead and run it down there, Robin. So we've got a variety of controls here. If you want to fold her flat, it can pan and tilt. It's got a microphone and speaker on there so that if we find a victim, we can actually carry on a two-way conversation. You get a lot of information from that. How many people were with you when the collapse occurred? That'll guide the rest of the search effort in that particular arena.
And what kind of range does a device like this have? How far into the debris can this go?
This particular one has a tether of about 100 feet. We have tethers that go up to 300 or 600 feet. Each of these other systems, even though they're wireless, we can rig a tether to it to actually get in there at greater depths.
At the World Trade Center, have you had much trouble with these getting jammed, stuck in debris, and does that happen often?
Not real often, but we did lose one of the platforms. We lost the Solem variant of the Talon about 3 nights ago, and that's a key point because we're an robot-assisted group. The robots aren't rescuing anybody. What we're doing is assisting the real heroes out there, guys like Justin Reeder, a lot of the firefighters, John LaFamina.
You locate the victims if you can, and then you send in the human beings to finish the job.
Exactly.
What's the next one? It's called a PackBot?
Yes, the PackBot's right here. It's somewhat unique in that it can flip itself back over. So if it does get stuck or snagged, it has the ability. Go ahead and run it around if you want a little time. Okay. It has the ability to switch itself and maneuver and recover itself from that snagged location. The other one that was lost actually got snagged up underneath a pile.
And what kind of information can this send back to rescuers?
Well, if we can get onto the screen back here.
Jimmy Mott, come around. Can you see this?
It's primarily video. Okay, why don't you hold up so they can get on in there, Tom? Why don't you give them a rundown on what you got on the display there?
Well, we have a full frame rate video feedback here that we can bump up to a higher resolution. We also have a compass in the robot to give us a heading. We have pitch and roll information, GPS location, several temperature sensors, and we also have feedback on the quality of the radio link.
And you talk about thermal sensors. Give me a practical reason, Colonel, why that's important.
Right. Well, we've got some of the thermal cameras that were lent to us by the Night Vision Lab down at Fort Belvoir, and what's critical about that, of course, in a military perspective, we're using those to find folks hidden in bushes and so forth. The value here is that we can discriminate between a body and an actual live survivor. So in a quick scan through a room, for example, if we have a bunch of thermal white spots, we know we've got survivors.
Promising target. Finally, the talon on the end, if we could just see that move for a second and describe what's unique about that device.
Actually, the talon's unique in several aspects. One, it's got the form factor that will allow it to climb stairs. Actually, both of these can climb stairs, so you can do a very effective, very rapid building search without ever putting humans in there. So if we have structural instability problems, the robots can actually get in and get very quick perspective of what's going on. This is also a robot of choice if we were to go in and try to grab one of the black boxes. What Arnie's got is a descriptive color diagram of what those look like. The value there is that as this is a crime scene, the FBI may want to be able to grab that, pick it up without any DNA evidence being transferred by a rescue person.
No risk of that.
Right. This one actually set a record a year ago for unexploded ordnance recovery in Bosnia. It's obviously manufactured and built with the intent to maneuver through rubble in a Chechnya, Sarajevo type of scenario, which makes it applicable for this type of work as well.
Being put to use for a good cause here in New York City.
Yes, sir.
Colonel John Blitch, thank you very much.
Thanks very much,
We appreciate it.
All
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, thank you as well. And we're back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.